Okay.
Cool.
There we go. We're now recorded. Yeah. One thing, we don't really have a team leader, a working group leader at this point. So Ruth and I are doing the job jointly. Is that right, Ruth?
Yeah.
Yeah. And thanks for coming in today. And it's high time probably to make some more progress and reach some milestones on our way to Mauticon. And I think it's not too hard once we actually spend a little bit of time here, and jointly, that is. If you all look at the Jira, there's a couple of things in the current sprint. I hope everybody has access to Jira in the first place.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of things on the board, and there's a couple of other things in the backlog. It's pretty much a collection of previous brainstorming. We don't have a strict agenda for today, but what I'd like to do first is to come up with a sprint goal. What do we really want to achieve today, and what do we need to concentrate on? Before we do that, maybe we do a quick round of introduction, and let's say not only saying who you are, but also it'd be good to know how much time everybody has today, and what hours and things like that. So, Nico, do you want to start?
Okay, I start. I'm Nico. I'm coming from the Drupal sphere, also in the Drupal assistant lead of here, and yeah, I would take the role more for having a design for the Mauticon and something like this to provide some nice designs for it for this sprint. So not that I want to do the design now, but to discuss everything, and this would be the main goal for me to get in and to discuss what design should be done, because this is the if this outcome is today, then I'm really happy.
Okay, so what's your availability for today?
The availability is okay, but I have to have 2 hours at breakfast time, which I'm not available because I have to cook for the company.
So at lunchtime, okay.
Yeah, during lunchtime and preparing. But then I'm open for stuff.
Excellent, thanks. So who's next?
I'm Floris, and I'm mainly interested in technology, tooling, and other things that make free open source conferences available to everybody. And for today, I have quite some meetings. One of those is with the developers of Vertly, the one thing that we're going to demo later, and the people from Rocket Chat. Yeah, so ad hoc in between, I'll jump into and brainstorm and help out.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Avi, maybe.
Hi, I can go next. So I'm Mohit, and I was able to join the first meeting, and after that, I couldn't join the other working meetings actually. So today, I have a couple of hours where I don't have a specific area or any specific preference to where I can devote my time. So anything related to sessions or something, this is something maybe I can help out.
Very cool. Okay. Nick, maybe?
I'm so sorry. Good morning from Nigeria. So I just joined, so I don't know what is going on.
We're doing the introduction, saying who is
okay.
who.
My name is Olua. My name is Olua.
Toby, go ahead.
And I'm part of the marketing team for Mautic, and I'm really interested in how much I could be able to contribute to Mauticon. Thanks.
Okay, Toby, what is your availability today? What hours can you join?
Toby?
Bad connection once again.
I think his connection might have dropped. It's
Correct,
gone grey.
Nick,
Okay.
let's get back to you and carry on. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. So my name is Nick. I work for Drupal, and I'm here maybe to give you some insights in organizing open source conferences or helping out with. So I've been helping out with DrupalCon for quite a while as a track chair, but also was the lead organizer for the Drupal Developer Days here in Ghent that had been cancelled. That was a bit sad because of Corona, but it doesn't mean that I maybe can just help you answer some questions or vice versa, learn from you. On the other hand, I'm here within Drupal, also responsible for putting Mautic somewhat in the market as the open source component in an open DXP. Terms you probably have heard also within Acquia or other companies. But I'm also interested in how you will position Mauticon and who do you want to attract, or maybe how I can help attract the audience that you want to attract as well. So that's a bit my point of view. I'm very limited in availability. It's around lunch. I probably will have to go. But that doesn't mean I don't want to stay informed somehow, and I want to figure out how to stay informed.
Okey-doke. Do you have access to the Jira board array?
I don't think so, no. There is like a Mautic other Trello board, no?
Oh, they are all migrated to Jira now.
Okay, no.
No, but it's open, so you can just go there and see the issues, but can't comment or something.
So if you are in
Feel free to drop the link in
you can
Slack
post
and
the
I'll,
link.
yeah.
If you were on Trello, you
Mhm.
should have got
Yep.
an invite for the Jira board at the same email address that you use for your Trello account. So you should have an account there already on Jira.
I think Trello was also open, so maybe I was never logged in.
Maybe. Okay, but anyone can add you, so just shout if you need to be added.
Perfect.
Yeah. I think you're not in the working group Slack channel, are you?
I am in WG-Mauticon.
Okay. Then I just...
Yeah, but I've been a very silent lurker.
No, that's fine. But yesterday evening, I just posted the link to Jira once again.
Yeah, sorry, I
I
don't
added
read
it
all
now
the
also.
channels all the time. That's my mistake.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, that's how it goes these days. Okay. Then we have Avinash.
Yeah. So, myself, Avinash. So I am a full stack developer and working with the hello.
Avi, the sound is not very good, but we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm a full stack developer and I'm an old the contributor, the developer to Mautic. I have given us some 2-3 PRs and raising the issues also in a Mautic. So just looking for the contribution to the Mauticon. I love the platform Mauticon, but not sure how do I make contribution, because being a developer, I can contribute to technical part, but not sure about how I can do it to the managing part and this event. So looking forward to you. And in terms of today's availability, I can available to 1-2 hours today.
Okay. So what's the time on your side today, right now?
Right now it's 1:30.
Okay.
Indian time.
Okie doke. And then Radu snuck in. Hey Radu, good morning.
Sorry.
Oh, that's Radu. just came in.
Morning.
Hey, Radu. Good morning.
Hey, sorry for delay.
Yeah,
Was in another call.
we're still in the middle of the introductions. Basically, talking about what is your preferred area of contribution today, and the other thing is what is your availability today. So, what hours would you be available?
So basically, it's the marketing side mainly, and availability. I have some room until 3 p.m. my time. That's 2 p.m. UK, and I have some room after 2 or 3 hours in between.
Okay.
I have a customer today that I'm fixing some e-commerce integration stuff.
Well,
So
that's priority.
around that.
Okay, appreciate it. So I think Ruth and I are missing, right? Ruth, do you want to go first?
Yeah, can do. So I'm available all day with the exception of an hour between 11:30 and 12:30 and 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock. So I have meetings that I can't shift then.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm helping organize / run, so I can get involved with whatever's helpful for me to get involved with. I have been involved in running conferences in the Joomla community and a couple of business summits that I run outside of work. So yeah, I'm kind of like retooling them to go virtual. So I have a bit of experience there, but yeah, keen to learn from everyone as well.
Okay, doke. Thanks, Ruth. Yeah, same here. I'm pretty much broadband. What the topics are and time-wise, except a little, very short lunch break. I have another slot at 1:45 this afternoon UK time, where we do an open space over here in the office, and I need to attend that. Yeah, other than that, all day long.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm also organizing some Drupal events up to 400 people and helping DrupalCon Vienna and some other stuff, but not online conference, to say this, because this is really new also for me. So for me, it's really new to online.
Yeah. So if you look at the Jira board, we have not divided stories into, or we have not categorized stories into epics or anything like that. Basically, the lines of work are not too many at this point. One is the technical platform and organization, and the other is the marketing of the event, and so making it public. Then a part of that is the call for papers, and then there's another one in the area of finance and primarily sponsoring, which is a little bit of pressing. And then there are underlying things like who is the target audience, what is the goal of the event, and how do we condense that into an elevator pitch, for instance, or a tagline for Nico's design. So I'm thinking maybe we should spend a couple of minutes to give everybody an equal starting point to help everybody understand where we are. So why are we doing this thing? What is the outlines? What do we expect it to be? Yeah, if nobody volunteers, and then I try to do my best, but I'd ask you to correct me where I'm mistaken here. So first things first, we have a date that is November 17th. We are considering, or we have been discussing, side events like tutorials or maybe another sprint or so the day before or the day after and or the day after 17th. But for now, we rather concentrate on the core event, which is a one-day completely virtual conference. We have not discussed the hours, at least not as far as I remember, except for the fact that we said we are across the globe, so we are in all time zones. We also want to be multilingual, so basically English, but we also want to allow local language tracks or local language talks. We just don't know yet how to organize that in tracks or whatever it takes. Is that correct so far? Am I missing a point, organization-wise?
No, I think that's great. I think the main focus for us is helping people be successful with Mautic, and that takes different, depending on how you use Mautic, there's different areas of interest.
Yeah, correct. That takes us directly to the why and who. We have this big theme of helping people to be successful with Mautic in every respect. It's not the exact phrase, I know. But the target audience that we discussed a couple of times now basically boils down to Mautic service providers, as in MarTech service providers, which can be agencies or freelancers or whatever, SaaS providers maybe. Then we have Mautic users, as in companies that are using Mautic for their success. And we have marketing agencies that are not technical but are using Mautic as a tool. And this is, of course, not just for the Mauticon, but the general audience of Mautic communication. However, when we ask ourselves who is going to attend Mauticon and who is going to get value out of Mauticon, then there's a clear distinction between those, and also with the distinction between existing and potential new Mautic users or providers or whatever. So on the other hand, there's of course a bit of overlap.
Lost your audio.
It's not audible.
Can't hear you.
Okay, are you still there?
Eki, you have no audio.
Try switching it off and on again. Not the thing that people want to hear, is it?
No, not really.
Yeah, the image is still there, so I think it's the wire between the machine and the head.
Yeah,
Could be.
and I think he's just hopping out, so. Oh, there we go. Go to the backup headphones.
Yeah.
He's freezing also when he's moving.
Mm.
So maybe, but I don't think it's his connection.
No, it's not a connection. He's moving.
Yeah. Really strange.
Someone's just joined called H. So if you go to the bottom right-hand corner, you can rename yourself if you'd like to have a slightly more descriptive name so we know who you are. It's a bit bizarre that it just suddenly cut out there, isn't it? How weird. Technology, hey?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, is there anyone who needs access to Jira? Because if you do, if you just throw me your email address, I can send you an invite.
Oh, I think I have.
Yeah, I was trying to look at all the issues, and I see the Jira thing, but as soon as I click an issue, it just refreshes the page. I think something's wrong with Atlassian as well.
Well, on Atlassian, we have public view access, but nothing more. So if you want to do more, you need to be logged in.
No, I think there is an issue because if I click on
okay.
show more issues and paginate it, it also reloads just the page.
Yeah,
So
technology
it's crazy.
also
Yeah.
fails for really big companies. So,
Oh, that sucks. Bad timing. Hey.
if you could add me on my Drupal account, that would be great. It says here I don't have access to Jira on mautic.atlassian.net on that email address.
Okay, what's the email?
This one.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, something I didn't hear, but probably was discussed before, is the whole sponsorship
Yeah.
discussion. Also happy to listen in or give advice there. Maybe also from the view of the company I work for, most likely we're interested.
Yeah, we've started work on the project for the sponsorship, and it's slightly determined by deciding what tool we use, because that will determine what we can offer as benefits to sponsors. So we've got an idea of the financial side of what we want to charge for the different levels based on budget. But it's now like figuring out what we want to offer the sponsors as part of their sponsorship, and how we fit that all in. Yeah.
A Mautic export of the conference Mautic, yeah, as a benefit.
Oh, what? Sorry.
No, one of the things that is interesting, and that also happens with DrupalCon, is that if people opt in for extra info after the conference, basically those emails are shared with the top sponsors.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. So do we have Aki back, or is he still fighting with technology? Still fighting. Okay. Anyone else need adding to Jira? I think you should all be on there. Nick, I've just sent you an invite.
Let me try.
So by default, all of our projects are publicly viewable, but need a login to interact on the tasks. So, yeah.
So, hello there.
We hear you.
Hi.
Must be Windows on your side, right? Shit. Okay. So, disconnect, connect, fix the problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But great, the recording is still on.
Yeah. That's the first thing I noticed. Okay. So I at least I heard you discuss various things like sponsorship, etc. And I think I was babbling away about target audiences, etc., and the nature of the talks that we expect, which go from all the way from developer and hardcore tech to successfully running inbound marketing campaigns. To complete the really short round trip, and Ruth, did I get you right that we have to go right now, half 12, half 11 your time?
No, it's 10:30 now, so in an hour's time. We've got the infrastructure working group kickoff call. So,
okay, got it. Okay, so nonetheless, really brief round trip. Sponsorship we already touched on. Tooling, we have a hypothesis, and Ruth, it sounded to me like it's still there. We still have open questions. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, Floris has set up a demo for us to play with this Featly tool, which uses Jitsi and an open source version of Hopin, basically. And so, I mean, basically, like I was saying, when you're offering something to sponsors, they want to know what they're getting in return. And we need to know what we can offer them in return to be able to put together the package, a brochure and stuff like that. So I think that's a blocking decision that we need to have a play around with the demo and see if this is something that we think we can use at scale. And get feedback as well from Floris, who I know you said you're having a call with them later today. But from my perspective, that's kind of an important decision for us to make.
Yeah, but that's like 2% of the work that it takes for the sponsorship package, right? We can have everything ready, but the last bullet point or so.
Yeah, so we've got the research of other online events. We've done a budget, which gives us a financial number that we want to aim for. And I've broken that down into what I think would be good levels for sponsorship.
Yep.
So then, yeah, like we're saying, figuring out what we can offer them and then creating some kind of brochure or offering, which is also dependent on, Nico, your work that you were talking about in terms of getting sign off on the visual elements, because we'd want to make sure that they're incorporated into that.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other important elements of the work at hand? The RFP, of course, is pretty much ready to go, right?
Yeah, in fact, I put it to go live today, and I think it's actually gone live already. So sorry, that's my bad.
Right. No worries.
Just put the date.
Okay.
So I'll pop that in. So we need to do an announce around that, some communication around that, so that people are aware.
Okay. Okay. So when I look at the important to-dos today, we have the RFP, what's it? Call for papers. Sorry, RFP. The call for papers, and the marketing of that call for papers. We have the sponsorship packages. We have the website, which I didn't mention so far. We have a preliminary, including the preliminary version. What else is priority? Design, of course.
And tagline.
And yeah, including the prerequisites, yeah. Ticketing, not yet. The actual the final website or the non-preliminary website, that will also have to talk about tracks and languages and audiences, etc. So in order to get that right, we need to also get clarification in underlying things. But except for if you look at those 5 things: design and tagline, RFP, and marketing of the call for paper, CFP, or is
CFP.
CFP and the marketing of the CFP, the sponsorship and the website and the tooling. Those are probably the 5 major topics for the day in my mind. Is there anything else that would not fit under those categories?
I don't think so. I think those are the key areas.
Then what I'd like to do is find or assign ourselves to those areas, like have teams of 2 at best for every area.
I started a document here. I posted it here where we can have a Google Doc and just write the outcome from today and have an overview. Maybe this could be also used for some.
Should we maybe do all? I prefer not to use a chat here, but in Slack. Would you
Yeah,
mind?
okay. Yeah, I've both. So Slack and here.
Oh, okay.
So this is just a
Sure.
Google Doc, and we can add there some users or write there some outcome maybe. So and have also a report for afterwards. This is good. So
Yeah, very cool. Thanks, Nico. Yeah.
so don't forget anything.
Yeah, let's. Does anybody have comments or additional questions? Maybe. Oh, we have Ruben on the call. Hey, Ruben. Good morning.
Yes, I just joined. I was stuck in a meeting. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. You're welcome. We are just finishing the kickoff, so to say, where we talked about an overview of the status and the task at hand, and also everybody said a word or two about himself and mostly about the area of interest and the time available today. So if you could just say what hours are you available today, and what areas would you like to help?
I can be. I mean, I can support. Sorry. Some construction workers.
Typical.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I can support Floris as being his secretary, and also, you know, I can spend, let's say, 2-3 hours almost daily, but more or less after, you know, 5-6 p.m. because, you know, I'm overflown with a lot of work. But not only that, I have extra, you know, side work that we are preparing this office space, you know, and then I'm doing a lot of construction working and a lot of, you know, side stuff. But from 5 p.m., 6 p.m., I can spend 2-3 hours more. Okay.
Okay, does it refer to today or to in general?
No, in general, almost weekly, I can spend 2-3 hours every day.
Okay, I'm writing that down.
Yes.
No, but specifically today, are you available before 5 p.m. or not at all?
No, I guess my last meeting is gonna be at 5:30. You know, so but after that I can just take over anything. That's what I say. I can support Floris in whatever he considers that he can delegate on me.
Excellent. Okay. Cool. Thanks.
Thank you.
So yeah, let's get going and assign ourselves to the teams. The call for papers. Ruth, could you just describe in a sentence what needs to be done there and how much work is left?
I think it would be great to have a basic image that is like a sneak peek of some of the imagery to share with the social thing, to say, like, here's the call for speakers is open until this date. We're looking for multilingual. Go here and submit, you know. I think for us to be able to send on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and yeah, and for also to provide for other people to share with their clients or what have you.
Yeah, so we need a visual which is basically derived from the design ideas from Nico. And we also need on the CFP marketing side some catchy phrases.
Some copy, yeah.
Yeah.
And I would just go stalk all the other open source conferences and see how they've announced theirs and see what you like.
Yeah.
And then just yoink bits out and write your own.
Okay. In the sponsorship packages, what do we have there?
So we have, yeah, we've done some work, and Megan started some work on that. She shared a document that she'd done some research. So it's working them up into the different levels, the different tiers, if you like, and what we're going to offer. I can grab the budget as well if that's helpful.
So if we turn that into a sprint goal, at the end of the day, it would be perfect if we had the collateral or a PDF ready that can be sent to people, that can be used for website copy and everything, with the only question mark of the final of the value and the bullet points, right? So is that realistic to get that done today?
I feel it is. I think there's lots of things here that are sort of codependent on each other. So I think that's going to be the challenge.
Yeah, it's a lot of chicken and egg too, or just everybody is waiting on everybody. So if we just start on every end, then it shouldn't be too hard. Okay.
Just for me, it's not possible to make like design inside this sprint because I have also an illustrator I will hire for it and everything. So just to be clear.
Yeah. So, but if we know it's coming, and if we can agree on like what we need and what formats, etc.
Sure.
Then we can have everything else in place and just put drop the imagery in, and then be good. Okay, tooling. Yeah, who could describe the goal here?
The guy on the bike, Floris. But
yes, exactly. but I'll park a bit so you don't have noise. No problem. The main thing what we see with this is that if you look at it from what is offered in the market, and we also done some marketing research here in Mautic as well as in the Drupal community, then yeah, a lot of products are valid, and it's a thing with cost, open source, and for Vertly, it's a few things that need to be added in order to have like the full Monty working.
Okay, let me ask a stupid question. So we are talking about the actual conference platform. We're not talking about the website sign up, etc. thing, or are we? And we're not talking about the call for paper mechanism, or are we?
The call for paper mechanism is already in place, and I tested it in a rudimentary form, and it seems to be working properly.
Yeah.
So I would say stick to that.
Yeah.
And then from there on, of course, there is a website, and it's a major challenge to see how we can do like a Mautic integration in an open source community system so that we can actually engage more people to join Mauticon as well as other conferences.
I think the other thing to mention as well is that if we do use Vertly, I'm not sure how that will integrate with the Hey Summit tool that we were planning on using, or even whether we want to use that anymore. So we may just want to explore what tools we actually want to use. If we do go for Vertly, because Sessionize also has the ability for you to actually create the agenda within Sessionize and then display it on a website. So, you know, there are different options.
Yes, and I recently found an open source tool made by the people in CERN that invented the internet that is also widely adapted for open source as well as closed conferences.
It's called Apache, right?
No.
Maybe Floris, can you give an overview what Vertly really is, so what it can do?
Yes, I created a demo for that, and we can jump into that later when I'm at the office. And then compare that to what Hopin is offering.
Okay, then it's a plan. Maybe let's make it then.
Yeah, and personally, what I was missing was like the sponsor booth thing where people can download their PDF and click on a call to action. But that could easily be done with a Mautic form integration. For the rest, it's fully fledged, and it has even better networking one-to-one and one-to-many opportunities than you can do within Hopin. So out of the box, it's the main competitor for free.
Okay, let's have a comparison then when you're in the office, and
Yes.
okay, I would say.
Okay, so but once again, are we considering moving away from Hey Summit too?
I don't know. That's what we need to discuss.
Yeah.
And that probably needs to happen with people who understand Featly and understand how we can, yeah. So I think that's a separate discussion that needs to happen in the tooling thing.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, let's have it afterwards if Loris is in the office. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I think that's really a priority.
Because also the link in the call for papers goes to mauticon.mautic.org at the moment. And obviously we can easily redirect that, but
yeah, but if we do want to work on the website today,
yeah,
we better know whether
better
it's the
get
final
on.
tool or not.
Yeah.
Okay, understood. For the website, of course, the ideal outcome of Sprint would be to have the website ready to go. That means to have a sort of structure, sort of like a navigation structure. We have ideas for the content within those pages, and then maybe most of the copy already. And obviously not the final design or not the final key visual, but at least we have scaffolding done and most of the content too, so that we have a very limited thing of leftover things before going live.
Yeah, just make it pretty afterwards.
Say again?
Just make it pretty afterwards if everything is set.
Yeah, well, really talking about pretty, in my mind, we basically talk about a key visual and maybe the color definitions, but those will probably be what they are.
And some smaller elements beside, so yeah. But
yeah. Yeah, and then of course the headline of design and tagline in the reverse order, of course. The outcome here is to agree on the tagline and to agree or to revisit the design idea that you already have. Is that correct?
Okay, yeah.
So with that overview given, are we all ready to pick our groups, or do we do this sequentially because many people want to do multiple things? What would be the first, most important one to start with, because others depend on it, or people are not available too long? So Nick, we have you available only. Or is Nick still on the call?
I'm here, yeah. Yeah, so for the call, I'm only available until noon, but I'm happy to answer things on Slack. Or if you ping me in Jira, also happy to.
Having listened to what we just discussed, what would be the area where you see yourself? Would it rather be sponsorship or
Yeah, I think sponsorship would be interesting for me. Although, to be very honest, I will be also biased, so I need to be careful with myself, I think. So that's just out in the open. On the other hand, I'm also interested in the session tracks, as in what kind of content and speaker outreach, that kind of stuff. But also there, I think my specialty is more on the technical side of things, not on the marketing side of things. And I think you need to decide somehow how you bring those two worlds together, because they're very different worlds. And I don't know how I can help with the merging of those worlds.
Yeah. Do we want to put the sessions and tracks and target audience, etc.? Do we want to add that to the call for paper topic, or do we want to make it a separate one?
That's a pretty big thing, no? Like, who do you want to outreach to? I mean, call for papers is one thing. But you probably need a couple of people in different areas to do speaker outreach somehow. I think there's many people here on this call that know the Drupal community, so that will maybe be quote unquote easy. I don't know how it's like for marketing directors and people that are actually working with Mautic.
Guys, I need to run for a meeting. I'll be available on Slack for the next an hour and a half. And then I'll be back again.
Okay.
Okay, see you.
Right. Thanks, Radu.
And also, like, if you discussed this topic before, feel free to shut me down, and I'm happy to just listen in and help where you think I could be useful at.
Yeah, I just added the part about organising the tracks and reviewing submissions because we haven't kind of thought that far ahead, really. But the Session Eyes has the ability to invite people to be content reviewers, to anonymise the submissions. You know, there's various lines of thinking that anonymising the submissions is better because you don't know who they are, but also you don't know who they are. So you don't know who you're selecting, and you don't know the diversity of who you're selecting.
That's the practical side. That's
Yeah.
probably the easiest part. But deciding who you're targeting to speak is a bit more tricky.
Yeah.
Either you do it organically and you'll just figure out who joins, or you do like a push to somehow bring those two worlds together. And I think getting marketing directors or people actually using Mautic into the conference, that will be very hard. Those aren't usually the kind of personas that just see this coming by.
Yeah. Well,
That's a Drupal, technical audience is not your biggest challenge.
Yeah. I'm a bit of lost now why we, or where this discussion should be led. I mean, we had that before, I know. I think for the call for papers, it's not relevant unless we want to point out more clearly what sort of talks we're looking for. So when discussing that at all, we give different categories, but don't tell which we love or so. We're completely open.
Well, in the same have you thought about keynotes or featured speakers, those kind of concepts?
Yeah, I think that's also in Jira, but not yet a priority, because what we need to get done immediately, we rather concentrate on the other things, right?
Just from my experience, the keynote is the hardest part, as in deciding who you want to be, your poster boy or girl, and convincing those high-profile people. That's the hardest part. And then obviously first the financials and the tickets and that stuff. And then only the call for papers, because okay, I have my framework and I know like this is how I attract people to the session submissions. But it depends on how big you see this event. Maybe I'm also way out of bounds.
I think the challenge is because this is the first one we've ever done, and it's the first one the Mautic community has ever done. We don't know what the size is going to be. We don't know how many people are going to be interested. So it's quite hard to guesstimate,
And do you have like some high-profile people already convinced to do somewhat of a keynote to attract people and to gain traction? Or will you maybe, Ruth, do the keynote in somehow and be on the front page of the website saying hooray?
Yeah, can do. It's a community event, so if that's what people want, then that's fine. Dries is also fine to speak, and Lynn, who's the CMO at Acquia, has also offered.
Yeah.
So
Just
there
be
are
careful
people.
that you don't only have Acquia people.
Exactly. That's what I was just going to say. Like, there are people at Acquia who are up for speaking, but we need to make sure it's not an Acquia only show. It needs to have diversity of representation.
Do we have a list of people?
But
Like,
ideally, it's an end user, also like a marketing director, I think, from a company that knows the history of these marketing automation platforms and that can tell a bit about why this shift is great, I suppose, a bit on a technical level. I don't know. Like Acquia is also great, and development companies are great in general, but they're not end users.
So sorry, I just got dropped out for a second again. Nico, I think you said, do we have a list? And then I was cut off. What was that about?
Already Ruth is putting together some list of which speakers offered there that they can have a keynote.
I can't remember how to spell Lynn's surname, so sorry if that's spelled wrong. But
okay.
I think that's important that we do have an idea of people.
Yeah. Also, like if we have some mind how the future of Mautic will look like, and there is just a small talk of trees or something like this. This is also great to have some really known people in the community and just to have them on the on the deck for speakers. It would be nice.
Yeah.
A good short one.
I agree. It's very important to decide on who we let the keynote do. And there's various aspects to it, but I still think it's
keynote
not
or featured speakers. That's just ways to promote people to join the Mauticon.
Yeah.
It's also marketing in a way.
Yeah.
And
it
it's
also
very short notice because I think your the session is the Mauticon is on the 17th of November, right? So you don't have a lot of time to confirm these speakers and to start the marketing action to start making sure that people buy tickets.
Okay, so shall we add that topic to the CFP headline? Or
we have it.
Okay.
And I think it would already be helpful if you put Dries' picture on the mauticon.mautic.org page and say he'll do an update on whatever marketing automation Mautic open source.
Future,
you could do
something
that.
Like
Future,
this.
something.
But great.
Yeah. Again, I agree that we need to be really careful about the Acquia branding of this event.
We also have to ask our marketing director to do something, but again, I also don't want to be biased in that way, as if this is the community hat that I'm wearing, not per se the company hat. So some formal process where you kind of invite keynote speakers or feature speakers would be great in such an organization like an open source conference. And then maybe what we do in DrupalCon or Drupal Dev Days, we open up a spreadsheet and give people some time to put in suggestions for keynote or featured speakers, and you start to invite those people or you rank them based on the votes that you give here.
Yeah.
I
think everyone agrees that Dries is most likely a very good poster boy for the Mauticon.
Also, if it would attract a lot of people also, so
yes,
easy decision. But if we have no other,
just also make sure you get some European,
please,
big boy or girl.
Why do you say European?
Because Dries is very much into the US space. The budgets of Acquia, the ways of customers are just very different. And I think what Mautic tries to do and is very good at is to make this kind of technology accessible for companies more of European sizes. the mid-market, as you say. At least that's my opinion.
We also may want to think about that from the multilingual perspective as well.
Yeah.
Just as a side thought, like if we're having really big poster people from the UK, EU, then we may also want to think about, well, who are the equivalents in our other communities? Who's the big poster child in Brazil, for example? You know?
Example, and then you also have to take into account diversity because it's a very important topic, and you will be scrutinized if you don't, and it won't be good for the Mautic community if this is not something you think of as a primary priority.
Yeah.
Also, and maybe that brings us too far, but if you get a call for proposals and lots of ones that you can actually choose, this is one thing to take into account. So ask in your call for proposals if people are from an underrepresented group, whatever the group might be, and it's their own judgment if they are or if they are not, and take that into account when choosing the sessions.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of topics at once now.
Maybe can we decide when we go to the design and tagline, because I now have to leave for this cooking thingy and then come back the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So I will be at 2 o'clock or something at least again here. Maybe we can have this discussion at 2 o'clock to have it set.
So that's 1400 your time?
Yeah, on my time.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
okay.
So in 2 hours.
Yeah.
To have it simpler.
Who would join that discussion?
I'd like to be involved in the discussion about the branding.
Sure.
I'm very interested, but I'm not available at this time. So let me know if you think it could be useful, or if you have other moments, or asynchronously in the channel.
Same here. I'll be available 2:30.
2:30. Let's do 2:30.
CEST.
Yeah. 2:30. I would be able to join too. That'd be great. So let's make it 2:30.
Okay. So in 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
To have it, or
2:30.
This time.
Yeah. Berlin time. Okay. Which one could be? When will Floris be back roughly?
I'm now at the office and I have my meeting at 1. So I now still have like 1 hour left.
Okay. So everybody who is interested in tooling, available now? Ruth, you only have 20 minutes left, right?
Yes, I've just put a timeline right at the top of this document so people can see like when certain discussions are happening.
Great.
So.
Okay.
All right. See you in Slack. I have to run.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.
So 12:15 tooling.
Hang on a sec. So.
Oh, sorry. That's 12:15 local time. Yeah, 11:15 UK time.
Oops. I'm just doing a time zone link so that we can. There we go. What time? Sorry.
Right now.
Right now. Okay.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I'm off then, and see you.
Yeah. 2:30 your time. Yep.
Thanks.
Okay. Cool. Call for papers. Marketing of call for papers and feature speakers. That would involve you too, right, Ruth?
Yep.
So that could start 12:30 your time, correct?
I am in a meeting until 12:30, so yes, that will work. So call for papers marketing.
Exactly, and the featured speakers. Yeah. Okay, who would be in for tooling except for Flores?
Yeah, I can.
Who's that? Say again?
Yeah, I can.
Avinash?
I will be there.
Excellent. Yeah. So Ruth as well, right? Avinash. Call for papers. Who would be in for that?
I will be in that CFP meeting actually, CFP and other things related to branding and. It's probably, I think it's 12:30, right? So.
Correct. Yeah. Good.
I'm just adding the time zone links so
Hello?
that it's easy.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, great. I was using a different microphone, so I was speaking. Nobody was hearing me. So I was asking about the tooling. What's required for the tooling, so that I can be able to know which of the units I can join.
So were you able to listen in?
Yes, but I know there is branding. I know there is call for paper. For the tooling, I really don't have an idea. If you can just share with me what the tooling is about, so I would love to join that.
It's about choosing what tools we're going to use, Toby, and how they're going to work together, and doing a demo as well.
Okay. Oh, okay, great. Okay, I would love to work with that.
What time is that, Eki? Was that
That's
right
now.
after this call?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we have the sponsorship left.
I think that needs to happen after the branding.
Yeah, we don't want to do things in parallel, right? So we say, well, the design, branding, that shouldn't not be more than 30 minutes in my mind. So can we do sponsorship at 1400 UK?
Yeah.
And then the only thing left is the website. So again, who would be interested in joining or able to joining sponsorship discussion at 1400 UK? That would be me. Good.
Didn't see who else put their hands up then. Anyone else interested in sponsorship?
Interested, but I have a meeting at that time, so I'll skip this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And after, let's say, 3:30 or something, I would love to help brainstorm about website.
3:30 what time?
CST.
Okay, so it's 2:30 UK. Then let's make that 1500 UK.
Yeah, I was going to say give ourselves a bit of breathing space.
Yeah.
So that was Flores. Anyone else? Eki, are you going to be in that one or?
Sure.
If anyone else.
I can also join for a website discussion.
Okay, perfect.
So it's all sequential then? Everybody's free to join everything with the schedule up?
Yeah.
And I'd say let's use the rest of your time, Ruth, for tooling, or at least to get tooling started.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
I'll drop off then. Okay.
Me too. And I'll see you all later.
Bye-bye.
Hey.
All right, so we're left. Good. This morning I succeeded in preparing winning the fight with the Google Firebase. And it's up and running on the correct Jitsi, like the same Jitsi as this one.
Cool. So
the
I've
tool
just
presents itself.
I've just signed on with
Yeah.
Google to have a play.
Mhm.
It really
And
does
on
look very
the
much like Hopin, doesn't it?
yes, exactly. That's why it has a good adaptability.
I'll paste the link in the Jitsi call just so, and in Slack so that people have
I
it.
already put it in Slack just now.
Okay.
And then it starts with the same central lobby and then a main stage on which
Yeah.
we can choose to either have a Jitsi room or a YouTube or other web RTP streaming. So you can reach broader audiences. And after there's like the individual room, the different kinds that either set by the admin or not. People can create themselves or they are preset and that follow the program.
Yeah.
Next section is with networking, where you can do one-to-one networking by choosing people. In Hopin, you can't. You just get randomly assigned one person. Then if you click within 5 minutes at the top of the screen and the other person does the same, then you get to continue chatting. If not, then the connection is broken.
Yeah.
There is some chat in there, but I think it's not really good enough. In the meeting that I have at 1 p.m., we're going to discuss in how to integrate per meeting chats, because you want to have like within a session an ability to ask questions, specifically when you are broadcasting to multiple audiences. And that won't be that big a deal. For example, Rocket Chat has the same kind of API as the Jitsi has, so it's not really that hard to integrate that into this kind of open code base.
Okay.
And then there's like polling and broadcast, so you can create a broadcast to all the people that something is keynote is going to start now, and then everybody gets a little pop-up like this in their screen, and then you have that.
Yeah.
And at the top, if you remove the Mauticon Play, it is set up that you can just create your own test little conference, and in there you'll be the admin. So that's for after for testing that. And I have to look up the other option.
Can I ask questions or?
Of course.
So where would the sponsors booths be? Because I don't see any at the moment. Is that a to come feature?
They are in the SaaS model. What happened with Vertly is it was founded in the same time as Hopin last year, November, December, just before Corona. And then you see the last big commits coming in June this year. And after they moved all the features that were developed new to their SaaS product.
Okay.
I already investigated the pricing of that. And this afternoon we have like a meeting in order to get that opened up again. And if not, make a strategy. If it's not open source, make a strategy to fork it and get a bigger community team around to embrace it in order to make that little bit final. As a practical insight, it could just be like a simple clone of the rooms that have the label sponsors, and in each the sponsor gets their own Jitsi room to meet with their VIP clients. And it wouldn't be that hard to integrate like an iframe or whatever with Mautic to provide call for action where people can download PDF and or share vCard. And that's about what you need.
Yeah, so where I was on the booth duty for DrupalCon, and what we found really nice was being able to have a video playing when you're not live in the booth, but also being live in the booth. So having people from your company talking or like chatting, and then at certain times running events. And they had a call to action. And for us, we put that through to a landing page where everyone who completed it, we donated $5 to Black Girls Code, I think it was. You know, so those
good calls,
that was really good from the booth perspective. We found it most effective having people live the whole time. because when people came into the room, they could see who was there, turn their video on, and start chatting. So
Yeah. And what I found not so good in Hopin is the overview of the sponsors and
yeah,
which ones were active and live at that time and which were
yeah,
just showing a video. That doesn't really interest me personally because I
yeah.
want to talk with the people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And what we found frustrating from the sponsor's perspective is you couldn't see who was actually in your booth. Like you couldn't see the people who were lurking. So you couldn't reach out to them and say, hey, do you want to turn your video on? Or hey, do you want to have a chat? Like you would if they were walking past your stand and it's someone you know. You could be like, oh, hey. And that was a bit frustrating. We could just see a number, like the number of people. So, and the other question I had was in terms of moderation and bad behavior and how we deal with that. I know that that's been a big thing for DrupalCon when they were using Hopin. And I think that would be really important for us to make sure that people are aware how they can report problems, but also to make sure that the admin team can deal with any problems that might arise, inappropriate behavior or people, chat messages, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the answer to that is two-legged.
Mhm.
One is the central login authentication part, which is currently in Firebase,
Yeah,
where you can just disable accounts and invite people, get CSV imports from what you sold, from your tickets, and
yeah,
so on. And the other side of that is the Jitsi part. And since 2 weeks, we have this working with JWT tokens. So if you have an access token, then your name, your email, and your avatar will be filled from the backend.
yeah,
And with that, you can make the people from the organization automatically into a moderator status within a Jitsi room. What people do in one-to-one conversations, and if you want to monitor that and do that in according with the European privacy laws, I think it's not even possible. But
yeah,
with group conversations, you want to address your code of conduct, your netiquette,
yeah.
and also enforce when people are not behaving properly.
Yeah, and I think the important thing is that there's a clear way for people to get help if something is happening. And that wasn't the case necessarily with DrupalCon. It was just like there were repeated messages saying, email here if you've got a problem. It would be nice if there was a way to say, I need to send a message to the administrators or the moderators, and that could then go and pop up to a group of people who are specifically looking after the
And they
code of
didn't
conduct.
use the reception area for that because everybody that lands on the on Hopin or invertly automatically joins the reception area,
The lobby, yeah.
the lobby where you have your volunteer staff.
Yeah.
And then when you spread up for having an international event, you might want to consider to have 3 teams with each like 8 hours time difference in
Yeah.
order to cope the full extent of what is needed there.
Yeah, so on the CFP there was an option to choose your language. I had to specify the languages that people could select. So for that I chose English, Spanish, German, Portuguese, French, Japanese, and other. I think realistically we probably will have an English track, probably a Portuguese track, and then maybe a European languages track, which might be French and German. I just don't know how many people we'll get. And in that case, I feel like we really have to have a team of people for each language because I can't respond to stuff in Portuguese that's happening. I won't understand what's happening.
I can respond in Dutch and German, but not in Portuguese.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's important that there's the option.
Yes, and
So
within the Drupal
in terms of
community,
Featly,
yeah,
how would it work in terms of selling tickets and then getting people into the platform?
external.
So is that can we do some kind of automated webhook thingy?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Because Open Collective has webhooks. What I was planning to do is to sell all the tickets and all the sponsorships through Open Collective, and then the finances are dealt with, the tax is dealt with. It's all in one place. Everyone can see the transactions.
Yep.
So what would be great is if there was a way of like automatically, when someone buys a ticket, pushing them into this platform, so they're already there. You know.
Yeah, that's also something that needs to be connected and a little bit developed. Currently, it's possible just to import CSV of your export of the people that bought a ticket.
Yeah.
So that's a zero minimal viable option. And then from there on, we want to extend and include different platforms and communities in order to have these things work automatically.
Yeah. I mean, the more automated it is, the better. But if it is just a case of downloading a spreadsheet and uploading it, that's fine. That kind of falls a bit apart when I know what it's like when people like buy tickets like 5 minutes before the event starts or during the event. And during the event, we're going to be focused on the event. So those people wouldn't end up getting an account in, you know, we'd have to be on it with that, wouldn't we? So the more automated, the better. But yeah. So infrastructure-wise, how would this platform be supported?
Currently, it's in Google Firebase and it runs on my credit card, meaning that if 1,000 people join now, I'll be bankrupt.
Yeah, so that's my concern. So we need to understand.
From a scaling point of view, it's an asset.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Well, one question is, can we bring that into a community managed account? Because then you're not going to go bankrupt. But I think we do need to set limits on this. Like we need to understand how much it would cost for, say, 150 people.
Yeah.
And that needs to go in the budget.
Of course, and if you compare it globally to Vertly, and if I look at the total amount of traffic, biggest amount of traffic is chat. That's like 80%.
Yeah.
So offloading that to something like Rocket Chat or another real-time system saves a lot of cost in there.
Yeah, for sure. Because I'm going to be having a credit card that is basically an Acquia credit card, but it'll be used for the community, and so I can then get a reimbursement from the Open Collective for anything that we spend on the credit card. So I think that would be good. But it would be helpful to know. So I've been working on a rough estimate of 150 attendees. So it'd be helpful to know, like, if we're at 150, it's going to be this cost approximately. If we go up to 300, it's going to be this cost, because we need to make sure that the ticket cost and the sponsorship covers all possible eventualities and makes a profit. That's my hope.
Exactly,
So,
that's the idea.
Yeah. So if you're able to.
For now, it doesn't matter to run on my credit card because I'm interested in embracing all different kinds of open source communities and collaborating on a virtually free solution.
Because also my thoughts were we'd like to get to the point where local communities can run their own multi-camps.
Yes.
And so if we can say, well, we have the tooling for you to do this, we just need to roll out a new instance and then it's here for you to use for multi-camp Brazil, for example, multi-camp Germany. It makes it like zero cost from the infrastructure perspective for that community. Or we say, in order to do this, you need to cover the cost of this. So your ticket sales need to be that to be able to cover the cost of using the tool, something like that.
Yeah, and then you're running into a sustainable ecosystem. That's exactly what my ambition is as well.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to have to bounce for another meeting in a few minutes. So would you be able to, the important thing from my perspective is understanding what we can offer our sponsors. Because I think it's a no-brainer to use this platform if it's going to work, if it's sustainable, and if it's stress tested. So whether we can mock that in Selenium or whether we, get a bunch of people to come in and try it, I don't mind. But it needs to be, we need to check it's sustainable. But the next thing is like what we can offer sponsors, because we need to start getting these sponsorships in line. Is that something you'll be able to give us more detail on after your call this afternoon?
Yeah, and that's also something that is up for brainstorm. Because in the market, I didn't see anyone, including VFairs, that does it in a way that I would say, yeah, I'd sponsor that. That's great.
Yeah.
So there's also an
Yeah.
opportunity to see, okay, which are the minimal required functionalities, like downloading a stupid PDF, filling in your fee card, sharing contacts, and these kind of things.
Yeah.
And what are nice to haves that can make this community-driven platform more successful than its closed source competitors.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I have to hop for a call, so
Okay.
let's think about that, because I think that's important as well. Like, I can probably get some feedback from the events team at Acquia about the things that they were missing in Hopin when they ran the event.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
There's
Thank you so much for
also
all your work on putting this together,
no
Florence.
problem.
It's really
I'm
great.
really glad that this morning
Super
Firebase
excited.
listened to me and it's working, and yay. It's cool.
Great. Okay, I will be back after my call.
Okay. See you
All
later.
right. Take care.
Bye.
Okay, if Floris is still on the call, let me quickly share my screen with you. There's a tech conference going on, and it seems they are using something similar to Vitly. I don't know, maybe it's a fork of Vitly. But just a moment, let me share my screen.
Yeah. Oh, maybe we should also stop the recording.
Okay.
Let me see. Go to this one. Else it will become really long. Let me check.
Can I call you back? I'm in a meeting, please.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Not
yet.
But it's caching.
Okay, so this is a tech event that is currently going on. It used to be one of the big tech events in Nigeria, and the interface, everything looks exactly like Italy, but just that their name is Flow.
Can you reshare, because I don't see it yet?
Oh, let me share it again. Okay.
Yes, please.
What about now? Can you see it?
Nope, not yet.
Can you see it?
No, not yet.
Oh, what is happening? I can share my screen. Okay, let me exit this meeting and join this meeting back. Let me refresh my browser. I used to have this challenge with Meet. I don't know. When I share screen, at first people see it, and in a few minutes it freezes, and then the participant don't see my screen anymore. I don't know.
Yes,
Maybe it's common to Windows or
probably.
something.
No, probably local bandwidth issues.